Definitely feel the spice.
Yeah.
Trying to keep my composure. These sideburns are for a reason. These sideburns say, you better make it to the end. This is what they say to the camera.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? For First We Feast, I'm Sean Evans, and today we deliver you a very special episode of Hot Ones brought to you by Stella Artois, the official beer of Hot Ones Summer, when we'll be bringing Hot Ones live to the city of Chicago. But first things first, you're watching the show with hot questions and even hotter wings, and today I'm thrilled to be joined in the studio by Ludacris.
Yeah, man. It's crazy because we met in New York at the Stella event last year
And now,
for the first time.
It's all come full circle.
It's all come
And you're trapped
full
on the
circle.
show, and there's no escape.
You know why it's taking me so long to be on the show? Because I was pissed that I didn't think of this concept and do it myself.
Right, well, now it's beer and chicken. You were really ahead of the curve on that one.
Oh, for sure. Chicken and beer is my lifestyle and everything that entails Ludacris. So this goes right along with my lifestyle, man.
All right, you ready to just get into this?
Let's get it.
Let's do it. All right, so this first one is the classic buffalo, and then you'll start over there at the handle.
Start at the handle.
Uh-huh.
That's actually pretty damn good.
There we go. The Hip Hop 50 celebrations of the last year really solidified the idea of a legacy act in hip hop. Do you think rap is still a young person's game, or have things changed?
That's a great question, man. It's funny you say that because every time when I'm on stage, especially over the last year, as we've been celebrating 50 years of hip hop, it's made me realize how young hip hop is compared to a lot of other genres, because people thought it was going to be here today and gone tomorrow. And look at what it's done. It's a permanent staple. You know, it's the biggest genre of music there is. And so, do I think it's a young people's game? I feel like that was the stereotype. And I feel like people are defying that stereotype each and every day because people are growing older with hip hop. I just saw, I want to say, like Rock the Bells concert. You had all of these foundational hip hop artists, and it was at a sold out arena. So that lets you know that there is a fan base still that cares so much and is so passionate. And I think it's just about coming out with projects that are meaningful and are honest. And you do that, you can relate to anybody. It's ageless. Jalapeno hot sauce. It's complex.
That's what I was gonna say.
Very slow.
And then it has some layers to it, you know what I mean? When you think you know it, it has another gear shift that it pulls on you. You know?
I agree. I love smoking Cuban cigars. When you smoke the cigar, it has, the ones that are complex. They have different layers. And you smoke them, in thirds. That's kind of how you define certain cigars. And same thing with wines as they get better with age, and some are more complex.
Mm-hmm.
And so the finer things in life and continuing to learn is what I'm all about, man.
Cigars, wine, and hot sauce.
Cigars, wine, and hot sauce, but mostly beer, chicken, and hot sauce.
There we go. Can you pull back the curtain on all that goes into the execution of a Super Bowl halftime show? Like, are there Marvel-level security measures to make sure that your cameo doesn't leak?
Yo, listen, it's definitely multiple layers to try to make that happen, but it's so many tentacles to this thing. But when you got it's thousands of people involved, I'm sure it's very difficult to not let something slip underneath the cracks. So of course I was tight-lipped, but I started seeing all the rumors of who was and who wasn't. I think it was so difficult that at some point Usher was like, yes, Lil Jon and Luda's gonna be there. But at a certain point you don't know what to believe because everything's diluted.
7 kinds of smoke.
Exactly.
What are some of the unexpected technical challenges of rappelling down from the roof of the Georgia Dome while performing?
Oh man, the only unexpected challenges for me when I first rehearsed before I actually did it was making sure that the antenna for the microphone was as powerful as it needs to be. If you have areas where it's not reaching, then you're gonna have a messed up performance because it's gonna be glitchy and your sound is gonna come in and out. And that was my most important thing. I didn't want to do this death-defying, phenomenal stunt and people not be able to hear me at full clarity of what Ludacris has to offer. So I basically made them go and buy 100 different antennas pointing in all directions, making sure that we were good. Stellar Fuzz, habanero. That's my favorite so far.
So for my money, the opening on Red Light District is one of the great rap intro tracks of all time.
That's dope. I think Timbaland did that one, so I'm glad you said that.
What in your mind is the goal or aim of a great album intro song?
Man, it has to capture your attention immediately. It has to set the tone for the entire rest of the album. You know, it's the World Series. Whoever's first up to bat needs to set the tone for the whole rest of the team, for the stadium, for the entire game. You got to hit it out the park. To me, it's always been important to have the best intros. And I'm glad you mentioned that because, you know, people's attention span these days are extremely short. But if you just go back and listen to all of the Ludacris intros, it should make you want to listen to the rest of the entire album. And that's the goal. You know what I mean?
And then one of my favorite pieces of Ludacris lore is that when you made your album Release Therapy, you did so with the explicit and specific goal to win the Grammy for Rap Album of the Year.
Absolutely.
How was your game plan or your strategy for that particular project different from the other ones?
The reason that this was is because for all of these years, and I want to say it was a good 9 to 10 years, I was in the same category of solo male rap artists as Eminem, as 50 Cent, as DMX, as Jay-Z. So I finally got to a point I was so consistent that I just built up this momentum and I finally had my time. And I set out to do it, and it's just like, that was probably one of the, if not the best times of my entire career, literally for setting out, making sure I had a goal and accomplishing that goal. And just knocking it out the park, as we say, man. It meant everything to me.
Love hearing that story from behind the scenes.
Should we crack our Stella Artois?
Sure.
What are we doing here, man? We gotta make it happen. Yeah.
Little Stella cheer to
Cheers,
that.
Man.
Poor
Los
spot.
Calientes Verde.
So Nelly recently made headlines with his claim that the 2000s was the hardest era of hip-hop ever.
Yeah.
Did that at all resonate with you? Like, did you agree with that statement?
It was literally piggybacking off of what I just told you in a sense of what I was up against trying to win that Grammy Album of the Year. When I was like, I'm always in a category with all of these heavy hitters. And Nelly was another one of them, and I would have to agree with him. I know that's subjective depending on what era you're from, because I feel like anybody in any era is going to say that was the toughest. But, you know, me being in that and saying what I went through, I feel the same way. Queso sin queso.
And a little bit of a jump, I think,
Right.
with this one.
All of them are different. Y'all did a very good job curating what the hell is going on here.
That's such a compliment coming from you. So your mythology in the hip-hop game, it's unparalleled. So what I want to do is just fact check some of the larger-than-life lore while I have you sitting across
I
from
love
me.
that, because a lot of that stuff on Google is like all bad, man.
Is it
Don't believe everything that you when you Google on the internet. There's some crazy stuff on there.
We'll set the record straight now. Fact or fiction, Justin Timberlake cursed you out backstage at the Grammys for celebrating too much.
I'm glad that you brought this up, because the internet kind of like, they went a little crazy with it. He definitely meant it, but it was no cursing out. He was behind the curtain, and I was celebrating so openly and I was so loud. I think it was said more in fun, but there was definitely some truth behind it. Like, okay, show's not over. Stop celebrating so openly. I haven't won any yet. You know, but with a smile on his face type thing.
Is it true that you buy a car off of the Fast and Furious set with every film?
Absolutely, until we started shooting in UK, where the steering wheel is on the other side of the cars. But the crazy thing is, you go look at Too Fast, Too Furious, there was this Dodge Ram that had the Louis Vuitton print on it. That was the first one that I got. I probably drove that around Atlanta for like 2 days before I was like, I've got to paint this damn car, because everybody in Atlanta was following me like, it's Ludacris. Look at it. Bro, I swear, like, I don't even know what I was thinking.
Did Ben Stiller personally seek your approval to use Get Back at the end of Tropic Thunder for that Tom Cruise dance scene?
Yo, I don't think anybody's ever asked me. That's a great question. Not only did he seek approval, respectfully, he invited us to watch the movie before it came out. And it was literally just me, him, and my management, and we watched the whole movie just to see at the end for him to ask me, is it okay to clear this? And I was like, absolutely. I'm such a Ben Stiller fan that I was more just happy that he invited me personally to come watch the movie before it came out. Bourbon Maple Reaper. Intensely spicy. Definitely feel the spice.
Yep.
Trying to keep my composure. These sideburns are for a reason. I have to go through all of these hot sauces. I cannot quit.
No.
It's something that, like, if people can read, these sideburns say, you better make it to the end. This is what they say to the camera.
That's good. No way.
These are like them old school Western movie sideburns I shouldn't have to have. You know what I mean? Where they used to eat spicy food all day, every day. They go in the saloon and they order like the hardest whiskey, you know what I'm saying? That's what these are,
You're
baby.
channeling
Come
that.
on, let's go. What are we doing? I haven't drank the milk yet.
So during your Chris Lova days at Atlanta's Hot 97.5, what, if anything, did you learn about the radio station politics that go into getting your music played on air?
I felt it's all about the team. The artist could be one thing. You can have a hot record, but your record company representatives, how they treat people, how they come to the station, the respect, it's just like being humble, understanding how the game is played. Because make no mistake, if you're a part of a record company and you're one artist, you got to understand that when these representatives from your company come up to a radio station, they're also trying to pitch all the other artists that have records coming out at that time. So it's like the artist doesn't usually realize that they're trying to piggyback off of your number one record. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I learned is that record companies, if you're very smart, you're trying to politic in the means of, okay, we know we got one record here. How do we help all of our other artists get on this rotation at this station based off of the leverage that we have at this particular moment in time?
Do you remember where you were when you heard What's Your Fantasy on the radio for the first time?
The first time I heard my record being played where I knew I was going somewhere was when I was on the same radio slot and we were on commercial break and somebody texted me and said, go listen to the other station. Your competitor station is playing your record. And that's unheard of because in radio, you're not supposed to do anything that supports anyone or anything that they have going on at the other station. And when I heard that, I was like, this is it. We're here. The forbidden fruit. I'm still enjoying this.
Can you define dynamic simplicity? And then how do you think it's influenced the music that you've made?
Man, how do you know about that? When did I say that, man? I love the fact that you say dynamic simplicity. I practice this martial arts called 52 blocks, and a lot of people don't really know much about it. But I mention that because, you hear all the time, and this can apply to anything, but you should be more afraid of the guy that practices one right hand punch 1,000,000 times a day as opposed to the person that practices full range karate, one time a day. So what I mean by dynamic simplicity, it's so dynamic with that right hand and how you swing because you got it to a T, like you've perfected it. But it's very simple at the same time. It goes into the music, how I do everything. You don't want to overcomplicate stuff. You have to keep the humanization in your music. And that can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. But there has to be a little room for error. Nobody likes perfect. As crazy as that sounds, you want to get close to perfect. You want to get better. You want to evolve. You want to get good. But when it's too perfect, nobody can really relate to it. So that's kind of what I mean when I say dynamic simplicity.
There's this amazing scene in the Genius documentary where you're in the parking lot outside of the studio before recording Breathe In, Breathe Out. Is writing in the car always been a part of your creative process?
Absolutely. It's like my safe zone. I can roll the window down. I can get sun on my face. So you feeling the elements of the wind. You feel the energy of whatever's going on around you. But at the same time, it's like you're in this protective box. You got speakers everywhere, front, back, side to side. You can turn this up as loud as you want to. You're not bothering anybody. Nobody can tell you to turn it down. and it's just protected, and it's just, that's where I get the best ideas because I'm just in this zone. When I'm driving and thinking and kind of writing at the same time, it's great because one is second nature. It's like I don't have to think about it, but it's also therapeutic for me to be able to drive. And that's where all my best thoughts and all of my best music comes. Of course, hence, move, bitch, get out the way. I wrote that in the car. You know what I mean? I was in traffic. I was in a traffic jam. All of that, man. You know what? I'm gonna take a little milk just because I'm thirsty right now.
Right.
Just I don't want anybody thinking that I just took a bite out of something and I need it. Because
No,
I don't need it. But I'm gonna take some right now just because I feel like drinking a little milk before.
And I'll join
the
you.
next one. All right.
Because coming up next is Da Bomb Beyond Insanity.
Should I take my coat off before? You know what? Let me just take my coat off because I want to show off this amazing chain that I just got you guys.
It is an amazing chain.
Pretty cool. Rock star status, ladies and gentlemen. The Bomb Insanity. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's definitely hot. Mm-hmm. But good.
Whoa.
That's really good.
Wow.
I mean, like in this type of way, like in these sideburns type of way.
Right, right. Like in a feel something, feel alive
That's
kind of way.
Ah! That's kind of like that type of way. You know what I mean?
I love that reaction.
Separate
very
the men from the
rarely
boys.
See this kind of reaction on this sauce. Woo! Just out of curiosity, what's the craziest stunt you've seen performed up close and personal on the set of a Fast and Furious movie?
You know, that's a good question because before, like on Too Fast, Too Furious, they used to actually let us drive the cars. And I just remember, may he rest in peace, of course, Paul Walker, doing this dope stunt. And it was such a hard stunt where he had to like 360 the car. But it was also amazing because, you know, he had practiced it so much and he did everything he needed to do. And I feel like he did the best stunts and he loved it. He was thrill seeker, you know, just adrenaline. And you could tell his love for cars and just his love for all of that. He talked about it all the time.
Have you ever been to a Gibbsy Hanna, that private Benihana
Yeah.
in the backyard of Tyrese's place?
Yes, I have.
Does it like match up to like a Benihana?
It actually does, because you know what he does? He goes to actual Benihanas and literally tells the chef that he'll hire them for more money. Well, he's done this.
He poaches.
He poaches and brings them to his house. He steals Benihana chefs. This is what he does. I'm telling you. It's crazy.
I gotta say, it's very rare that somebody looks to Bomb right in the eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And stands 10 toes down the way that you have on that way.
I appreciate that, bro. Listen, and I'm not showing it as much, but it's very, very, very insane. Because I still, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I love it, because I said the complexity of it has not gone anywhere.
Right.
It's still here. Matasanos. This is where it gets interesting, I'm sure.
Now, nothing fun, but after the last one,
Right. I already know.
almost like it takes its foot off the gas a little bit.
And I like that. You know what's dope that I didn't even mention is that Queen Latifah, we shot a movie with Netflix called End of the Road. And we shot this in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Albuquerque, New Mexico, as you know, it's the chili pepper capital. I truly enjoyed shooting that movie with Queen, but also being in Albuquerque, New Mexico and trying all of these different chili peppers.
It seems to have served you well.
It feels like it served me well, because this is reminding me of those times. And that's what's special about the hottest of hot sauces, is that it's going to bring you to a moment in time in history
Where it comes in handy.
It comes in handy. Music does that. The best things that you know you're going to remember for the rest of your life. That's what this is about. Memories. Lifetime memories.
So I've heard you talk about Busta Rhymes and Missy Elliott as musical influences, but I'm curious, as one of the funniest lyricists and music video performers of all time, who are your comedy icons?
A lot of people don't know this, but Richard Pryor is like my fifth cousin, believe it or not.
What?
So I'm related to Richard Pryor. You don't hear people say that often. You only hear cousins when it's like first cousin. Definitely say Richard Pryor. I would definitely say Eddie Murphy's of the world. My friend Kevin Hart, feel like he's up there with them. Dave Chappelle, gotta mention him. Man, those are those are just a few that come to mind.
What do you see as the role of comedy in hip hop?
In hip hop, there used to be this stigma that you have to be hardcore all the time, that you can't show a lighter version of yourself, and people started breaking down those barriers over time. I just saw Ice Cube say something about the song It Was a Good Day, about all his homies were literally telling him he cannot put that record out because, you know, if you hardcore, you gangsta rap, nobody wants to talk about having a good day. And you think about that and him going against the grain and just being honest about his life, and you see that record now as like one of the most timeless and classic records of hip hop history. That should let you know you gotta talk about all sides. You have to. You can't not do it, bro. Uh-oh, let's go. Today was a good day.
Today was a good day.
Until we had this last damn hot sauce on this table.
So this is the last dab. We call it the last dab because it's tradition around here to put a little extra on the last one. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Oh, man, come on now.
I knew you
would. I tell you about these sideburns, bro? Did I not tell you? I told you about the sideburns.
I know. I knew immediately what I was dealing with today.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, be careful.
That might not be a good thing. The last dab.
Let's go.
That's my favorite.
Whoa.
That's got a kick. But the flavor, though.
That's complex over here.
Yes.
Let's rock. Let's rock. And the good news is, Luda, the wings of death are behind us. And to close things out, you know, there have been these debates raging online about your best features on other artists' songs, all right? So here, while your brain and mind melt in hot sauce, I want to put them to rest from the source, all right? I'm curious, what to you is your Mount Rushmore of Luda guest verses? Your top 4 of all time.
Definitely Sierra O is gonna be in that top 4. Nas, Made You Look remix.
Hell yeah.
I gotta say, yeah verse for a feature, just because it is going down in music history, not just hip hop or pop history. We talking about music history. Number 4 is going to be very difficult because, man,
you can think about it for a sec.
You know, it's like, it's coming to mind. I don't want to repeat myself, but I want to say Lovers and Friends, man. We talking about, let's just say if they say Usher, you know, Lil Jon and Luda had to do it again. That Lovers and Friends record, we never shot a video for, and it went number 1 on the charts. And it's like, for it to be slow song, and for it to resonate with people the way that it did, I would have to put that as number 4.
Well, set it in stone, and look at you, Ludacris, taking on the wings of death, living to tell the tale. And before we roll out the red carpet, I think it's only right that we cheers Stella.
Cheers
to
to Stella, man. And by the way, you know, Stella Artois has some great events planned, you know, because they have one in New York again. We have one in Atlanta. I had to let them know they have to bring it to my hometown of Atlanta. So this summer is going to be amazing because we get to do this again.
And now there's nothing left to do but roll out the red carpet for you. This camera, this camera, this camera. Let the people know what you have going on in your life.
Cheers, man. I have nothing going on but the bomb hot sauce. I'm taking this home with me. That's all I got going on.
First one ever.
Thank you, bro. Yeah. Somebody told me who killed it the most was like Billie Eilish or something like that. Somebody, was it Billie Eilish that like didn't flinch or somebody? It was a woman.
This is a couple, yeah, like Jenna Ortega didn't flinch.
I think that's what it was.
Lord didn't flinch.
How the hell did they do that?
Halle Berry actually didn't flinch.
What?
I was like, oh, so you have any idea what you're getting yourself into? And she goes, Sean, I am here to eat dinner. Like that.
That's hilarious. Yo, that's crazy.